All right, gentlemen. I decided to be nice and write a answer key video for the reviews so that A, you can get some instant help and not have to wait for me while I'm working with your classmates. And B, since it was over such a long period of time that we've been working on this chapter, this is going to be more beneficial than you waiting for me to answer your question. So, you're welcome. Number one, what is 138% of 250? So we did this two different ways. Our first way was the percent proportion. So you take the 138 out of 100, and that's going to be equal to what of 250? And then you see how 100 got to 250 with multiplication, and I need my handy dandy calculator. So I'm not sure, 250 divided by 100, ooh, that's times 0.25. Oops, come on, times 2.5. So I'm gonna take this times 2.5. And it should be bigger because 138% is way bigger than 100%. And we should get 345. Or we learned our second method, which I prefer, is just turning that into a sentence. And again, I don't care which method you choose. What is 138%? We never use percentages. We always turn it into a decimal. Of means multiply, and then we multiply 1.38 times 250, which again gives me 345. So our answer for number one should be the letter B. Number two, what percent of 80 is 8? Again, I know some of us like 1 and some of us like 2, so we do method 1 here, method 2 here. So we have what percent, so what over 100 is equal to, computer, I'm getting really frustrated with you this morning. Of 80 is the bigger part, so it needs to go on the bottom. And we're looking for the percent that 8 is, so 8's going to go on top and match the percentage. So this is going to get smaller. 100 divided by 80, so divide by 1.25. So my question mark divided by 1.25, I don't know what my question mark is, so I'm going to have to go backwards and multiply by 1.25, which should give me 10. And since it's already as the percentage, it should be 10%. Next, method 2, using the sentence. So what percent of means multiply, 80 is means equals, and then 8. Well, here, the question mark and the 80 are being multiplied. Since I don't know what that question mark is, I have to undo that guy, and I'm going to divide by 80. So 8 divided by 80, let's see if I can show you guys this, is, I'm way off today. Kind of hard with the extra light in here, 0.1. It's making my computer screen make me look very washed out, is 0.1, but that's just the decimal. We want the percentage, so I have to go back and say 10%. So the answer for number 2 is H, 10%. 24% of the 25 swim team members are new. How many members are new? So I know that 24% of 25, and we want to know what that percentage is. So all I did is kind of turn that into a mini sentence. I took that big sentence and made it smaller. So I'm wanting to find what percent. So now that I have a simplified version, here's method 1. Here's method 2. Method 1 says 24%. Wow. think it's because I have Google open. Let me close Google, guys. Bye, Google. Is equal to what number of 25? And I know 25 is going to be on the bottom because 25 is that total. Totals always go on the denominator, always. So that's an easy one. I divided that by 4, so that means I have to divide this by 4. 24 divided by 4 should give me 6. So I should have 6 new members. I'll use blue for method 2. Method 2 says 24%, so 0.24 of means multiply 25, and it should give me 6. Yep. Oh, sorry. So that one should be letter A, 6. We're going to estimate this one. We want to know 49% of 15. I'm going to round 49% to about 50%. And then I want to know 50%, which is 0.5 or 0.50 of 15. So I'm going to just multiply those together. Or I could say what's half because it's essentially just a fraction as division. So that should be about 7.5, which is letter H. Number 5, estimate 3/4 of 387. So when I'm looking at this one, and I didn't have time to type the answers on here just because I'm sitting at school at 7 in the morning, and I'm going to take those extra steps. If you're looking for a percent that's smaller than 1, could that be 300? So we can instantly throw out the answer for A. So my choices are then 43 and 0.4. So we're going to work on this now, throwing out that 300, because again, you want to work on your testing skills. You should know that it's not 300. I hope so. I'm going to take 3/4%, and I'm going to round that to about 1%, because that's going to round up. I want to know what 1% of 387. I'm going to take 387 and kind of round that one up. I'm going to round that to about 390. Again, we're just estimating here. So I'm going to take 390 times 0.01, because that's 1%. And I get 3.9. And again, this is all estimation. So I know I don't see 3.9 on there. But what's going to be the best option? You got 40, you got 3, and you got 0.4. Guys, 3.9 is way bigger than 0.4. That's not an option. Cannot be 40 because it's nowhere near close to 40. So my estimation is 3. To me, the problem, again, I didn't write this one, but this problem here, and I wanted to talk about it instead of always finding the best perfect answer, is that they rounded this down to 300, which they shouldn't have. But again, it's proof that you're just estimating, so you want your best close estimate, because I rounded up to get to 1% here. Ooh, that was a bad circle. I had to round up. So because I rounded up, the answer that I get should be theoretically bigger than this guy. Wasn't 0.9 a little bit bigger than 3? So that's okay. Answer for number 5 is C, 3. Number 6. write the equation and the solution. So this, unfortunately, is going to be the method that I choose when we do method 1 and 2. This is method number 2. It's asking for it, so you are going to have to work on that sentence structure. For numbers 1, 2, and 3, I don't care if you don't choose to do it this way, but for these, you have to in order to find the correct answer. So what number, that's a question mark, is 74%, again, we don't ever use the percentages, turn it into a decimal, of means multiply, and 58. So on my paper, I can see that it cannot be F because it starts with a 0.745. I'm sorry, 0.74. It potentially could be G, cannot be H because it has 58 equals. And it could potentially be, no, it can't even be I because it doesn't even have the decimal as 0.74. It's just got 74. They didn't change the percentage. So my answer is, I'm thinking G because my equation is the only one that matched up. Let's double check that number though, because it also wants the solution. And I think the test is slightly harder where you have to go and check the solution answer versus just looking at the equation. So 0.74 times 58, give me, I'm sticking my thing, 4292. And it says to round to the nearest tenth, so that 2 would be gone anyways. So yep, it's going to end up being G. Number 7, again, write the equation and find the solution. 89% of what number is 14? So 89% is 0.89. Of what number is what I'm looking for is means equals and 14. So 0.89 times something. It can't be A because it says 0.89 is equal. It could potentially be B because it says 14 equals 89. Oh, but it's not that one because it doesn't have that decimal point. Can't be B. Cross that one off. C says something is equal to, nope, we're not multiplying those two given numbers. So we're going to have to go with D. Again, I'm going to prove why. I'm going to figure out and find the solution here. So I have 0.89 times something is equal to 14. So I don't know what that something is. I need to undo that. So I'm going to undo that multiplication with division. And what I do to both sides, I do to the other. So what is equal to that? Well, 14 divided by 0.89 gives me 15.7. And that proves why it's D. I get the solution of 15.7. While shopping, Lucinda spent $48. If the amount she spent was 15% of her savings, how much savings did she have before she shopped? So I'm looking for that total. I'm looking for that of number. So I know $48. I'm going to do method number 2 or method 1 because I know you guys like that one. Is 15% of the 100, and we want to know the bottom number. We know that 48 is the smaller part. So how can 15 get to 48? Let's see, 48 is 3.2, so I multiplied by 3.2. So therefore, 100 times 3.2 . So I should get 320, which is letter I. So number 8 is I. Number 9. This guy has lunch at a restaurant. His bill was $14.50 and he wants to leave a $20 tip. 20% tip. How much should he leave? How much of a tip should he leave? So I want to know 20% of that $14.50. So that's going to be what I'm looking for. Oops, I forgot you guys like percent proportions. So 20% of 100 is equal to 14 on the bottom because that's my total. I'm looking for the top. So how can 1450 get to 100? Whew, that's a crazy one. See, this is one of the reasons I don't necessarily like using the fraction method. Guess I'll show you. I take 100 divided by 1450. I get this crazy long decimal, which means that I ended up gonna have to round if I want to use this. I try not to round as best as I can, because if you look at the answers, I've got 290, 250, 200, and 144. Those are all pretty close together. I'm afraid that I might get the wrong answer. So I want to use the sentence method so that I can for sure get the correct answer that way, so I'm not rounding in between. So I'm going to do instead, what is 20% of 1450? 2 times 50. See here, boom. I get a nice answer. I can see right there, 29, and we're talking about money, so it's 290. So your answer in that problem is A. Number 10, an aquarium's on sale for $59.50. If this price represents a 15% discount from the original price, what is the original price to the nearest cent? I'm trying to figure out how long I've been recording for. I forgot where that shows me. Well, all right, so we're gonna find this problem. It's on sale for $59.50, so that represents the sale price. So that's gonna be my equal. And I had a discount of 15%, so I'm not paying 100%. I'm taking 100 minus 15, so that's 85%. Times that what? What was that original price? So divide by 0.85. And that gives me $70. Woo, we got the first 10 done. Let's do the next 10. Determine the percent of change. So we're either going to have increase or decrease. And since I'm going from 100 to 150, we should automatically know that my number is getting bigger, so I should be increasing. So right away, you can cross off anything that says decrease. So get rid of A and B. I'm just sorry, just A. Just get rid of A. So I take the difference between the two of them, which gives me 50. And then I take that 50 and divide by the original number. 50 divided by 100 gives me 0.5. Turn that into a percentage, move it twice. So it should be 50%. And it's an increase, so it is B, 50% increase. 11, same thing. Well, we're going from 300 to 200, so we're going down. So this is a decrease. So we can get rid of I, because that's the only one that says increase. So how am I decreasing? Well, I'm going to take 300 minus 200, which leaves me with 100. And I'm going to take 100 divided by 300, because the 300 was the original price. And I get 0.333 repeating forever and ever, and that is 33%. So that should be number 12 is H. Do I have two 14s? I do have two 14s. This is number 13. Sorry. Oops. Number 13, 30 to 90. Again, those are getting bigger, so we should be increasing. So we can cross off none of them because they all say increase. Oh, man. So I take the difference between them. Oops. Which gives me 60. And then I take that 60 and divide by the original. 60 divided by 30 gives me 2. And again, that's not 2%, that's 2 as a whole, as a decimal. So then I have to turn it into a percent by moving it to the right twice. So it should be 200%. So my answer is C. Okay, we want to know the total price. I'm getting a $20 haircut with a 15% tip. So that means my total should be getting bigger. If my total is getting bigger, that percent should be over 100. So 100% plus 15% is 115%. So 20 times 1.15, because that's 115 as a decimal. And when I do that one, I get $23. And that is H. Okay, we're adding 5% tax. Tax is going to increase, so that's 105% that I'm paying total, which is 1.05. So $10 times 1.05, which is $10.50. So that should be C, paying $10.50 for that 5% tax. What is the total price? You've got a $50 tool set and it's a 10% markup. So again, markup's getting bigger, we're increasing. So that's 110%, which is 1.10 or just 1.1. So 50 times 1.1 is equal to 55. All right, I'm going to have to finish this in a moment. I have someone who needs to come in my room.